Have you ever felt that despite all your efforts, your mind remains scattered, making it hard to focus on daily tasks? What if the key to overcoming this lies not just in focus techniques, but in something much deeper? Carl Jung, one of the greatest psychiatrists of the 20th century, believed that the ability to concentrate is deeply tied to integrating the conscious and unconscious parts of our psyche. In this video, we'll explore how Jung and Heidegger, two giants of thought, teach us to develop powerful concentration that goes far beyond what we imagine. Martin Heidegger, a 20th century German philosopher, is known for exploring human existence and how we relate to the world. In his work, Being in Time, he discusses the importance of focus or attention in understanding being and existence. He argues that our experience of the world is shaped by how we concentrate and relate to things through our attention. Thus, focus is a fundamental aspect of his phenomenological philosophy. Heidegger develops his concept of human existence, which he calls Dasein, often translated as being there. It refers to how humans are immersed in the world and relate to it. A central idea is that how we experience the world depends on our way of being in it, our focus and attention. He argues that we often live distracted, caught up in daily concerns and routines, which prevents us from truly experiencing the world as it is. This distraction leads to a state of fallenness or inauthenticity. For Heidegger, focus and attention are essential to overcome this fallenness and gain a more authentic understanding of being. By consciously directing our attention to things, we can experience them more authentically and understand their meaning in relation to our own being. For example, when we focus on an object like a stone, we don't just see it as lifeless. We can appreciate its being in the world, its history, its connection to other objects, and its meaning to us as humans. Heidegger sees Dasein as fundamentally temporal and immersed in the world within its historical and cultural context. Each person experiences Dasein uniquely but shares basic traits. The concept is closely tied to focus and attention, as Dasein is always oriented toward the world and its objects. This orientation involves a form of attention that shapes how we experience and understand reality. Heidegger critiques the traditional view of philosophy that sees humans as subjects confronting external objects objectively. Instead, he suggests our relationship with the world is more fundamental, shaped by our existential situation and cultural historical context. Focus and attention are key to this relationship between Dasein and the world. By focusing on specific objects or situations, we reveal aspects of the world and ourselves that might otherwise stay hidden. In Heidegger's view, concentration can be seen as part of Dasein's attitude toward the world and itself. When we concentrate, we direct intense, focused attention to an object, task, or experience. This intense focus can reveal deeper, more meaningful aspects of reality, allowing us to immerse ourselves in the present without everyday distractions. Concentration also resists the fallenness of living in distraction and superficiality. By focusing on specific moments and experiences, we can counter this tendency and gain a fuller, more meaningful understanding of being. Heidegger's work is often divided into two periods. The first is marked by Being in Time, which, though incomplete, presents many of his core ideas. In it, he assumes philosophy's task is to fully determine the meaning of being. Not of beings, but of being in general, which establishes and sustains concrete entities in existence. These categories help distinguish between an authentic life that acknowledges the fallen nature of existence, its ungraspable foundation, and an inauthentic, alienated life that forgets being in favor of concrete entities. Carl Jung, a Swiss psychiatrist and founder of analytical psychology, had his own ideas about concentration and attention. While Heidegger's approach was philosophical, Jung's was psychological and analytical. Jung, whose impact on psychology spans generations, was a pioneer in exploring the human mind as a whole. Unlike other psychological approaches focused solely on the conscious, Jung aimed to integrate the conscious and unconscious parts of the psyche. For Jung, concentration was not just about focusing on a task, but a broader process of psychological integration. He believed proper concentration required harmony between the conscious mind and the unconscious, recognizing both as vital to human experience. This integration enabled greater self-understanding, resolved internal conflicts, and fostered authentic development. One tool Jung recommended was active introspection. This wasn't just observing conscious thoughts and feelings, but also attending to images, symbols, and emotions from the unconscious. Through this active exploration of the psyche, Jung believed one could gain deeper self-understanding and insight into internal processes affecting behavior and life experience. Jung distinguished between two types of attention: diffuse and focused. Diffuse attention, where the mind wanders freely, was essential for creativity and problem-solving, allowing unconscious connections and associations. However, he also valued focused attention for completing specific tasks and staying present. Jung saw balancing these two types as crucial for personal growth and self-realization. To understand how Jung applied his views on concentration, we can look at his clinical practice and personal self-exploration. In his clinical work, Jung used free-floating attention, a diffuse form that let him tune into patients' unconscious associations while remaining open to emerging insights. This flexible, receptive focus avoided preconceived expectations, allowing Jung to access deep aspects of patients' psyches and aid their self-exploration and healing. Jung also practiced active introspection in his own life, regularly exploring his dreams, fantasies, and personal symbols to understand his psyche and place in the world. This practice helped him consciously integrate unconscious content into his conscious life, fostering greater self-awareness and authenticity. A notable example of Jung's integration of conscious and unconscious attention is his concept of individuation. This was a process of personal development involving the integration of all psychic aspects, conscious and unconscious, to achieve greater wholeness and authenticity. Throughout his life, Jung explored his psychological depths, integrating unconscious insights into his conscious life. This enriched his self-understanding and shaped his theoretical and clinical work. Robert Greene wrote, "Conserve your strength and energy by keeping them concentrated at their strongest point. You gain more by finding a rich vein and mining it deeply than by jumping from one shallow vein to another. Intensity always triumphs over dispersion." Dr. John Lubbock expressed this masterfully in his fable, The Goose and the Horse. A goose eating grass in a meadow was annoyed by a nearby horse. In an aggressive tone, it said, "There's no doubt I'm a nobler, more perfect animal than you, as your abilities are limited to one element. I can walk on land as well as you, plus I have wings to soar in the air, and when I want, I can swim in lakes and rivers, refreshing myself in the water. I enjoy the powers of birds, fish, and quadrupeds." The horse snorted disdainfully and replied, "It's true you inhabit three elements, but you don't excel in any. You fly, but your flight is so clumsy and heavy you can't compare to swallows or larks. You swim on the water's surface but can't live beneath it like fish, nor feed there, nor dive to the depths. And when you waddle on land with your broad feet, stretching your long neck and hissing at passers-by, you only attract ridicule and contempt. I'm made to move only on land, but how graceful are my movements, how elegant my form, how strong and swift I am. I'd rather excel in one element than fail in all like you. Sun Tzu says, if you're not in danger, don't fight. This is a physical law. What inflates beyond its proportions inevitably bursts. The mind must not jump from goal to goal or let success distract it from its purpose and sense of proportion. What coheres, concentrates, and connects with the past has power. What scatters, divides, and stretches rots and crumbles. The more something inflates, the harder its destruction. The world is full of growing divisions in countries, political groups, families, and even individuals. We're in a state of total distraction and dispersion, barely able to keep our minds on one direction without being pulled in hundreds of others. Conflict in the modern world is higher than ever, and we've internalized this in our lives. The solution lies in retreating within ourselves, as Jung did, toward more concentrated ways of thinking and acting. As Schopenhauer wrote, the intellect is a magnitude of intensity, not extension. Napoleon knew the value of concentrating his forces on the enemy's weakest point. That was the secret of his battlefield success. But his willpower and mind were also shaped by this concept. Baltasar Gracian, a Spanish Jesuit philosopher and writer, is recognized for his literary works and influence on philosophical and moral prose. Though criticized in his time for his pragmatic approach and sophisticated style, he's now seen as a key figure of Spain's golden age in Baroque literature. Gracian wrote about concentration and focus, value intensity over extension. Perfection lies in quality, not quantity. Mere extension never rises above mediocrity, and the misfortune of those with varied, scattered interests is that, wanting to dip into every dish, they end up tasting none. Intensity brings eminence and turns heroic things sublime. Concentration is vital in our lives. We're constantly focused on something, even if we don't notice. The problem is, we don't discern what or why. That's where Jung's internal introspection comes in. Be conscious in your life. Don't let years pass unnoticed. Evaluate your reality and focus on what's productive for you personally. As Napoleon Hill wrote, remember, time is an enemy that tolerates no indecision. Jung said, where your attention is, there you are. Each time we learn to concentrate, we gain additional psychic energy. The main goal of life is individuation, the process by which a person becomes their true self, differentiating from the collective unconscious herd. The self needs the resistance that attention provides, like a candle needs a wick to withstand the wind. The pursuit of greater concentration is truly a journey of self-knowledge and inner integration. As we've seen, both Jung and Heidegger teach us that focus and attention aren't just mental tools, but gateways to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world. For Jung, concentration is a powerful force that harmonizes the conscious and unconscious, enabling a more authentic and fulfilling life. Heidegger reminds us of the importance of being present and connected to reality to live more truly and meaningfully. Now that you understand the profound impact concentration can have, the next step is to apply these teachings. Practice active introspection, seek to harmonize your inner aspects, and be mindful of where you place your attention. Remember Jung's words, where your attention is, there you are. Use this wisdom to shape a life of purpose, authenticity, and clarity. If you found this content valuable, don't forget to like, share with friends, and subscribe to the channel to keep exploring topics that shape how we see and live in the world. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.